As we all know, the transfer portal giveth and the transfer portal taketh away. And the Buffs have seen that this season. They've seen that here as the season has ended. Players deciding that Colorado ain't the place for them. They also saw as the season went on, starting the year 3-0 and then working their way through, things didn't end the way they wanted it at 4-8. Now, 4 wins coming from 1 win is a huge jump. But this Buffs team had a higher aspiration than that. And Coach Prime really talked up how this was just for the day. You better get your licks in now because the expectation next year is to get bigger heights. The good thing for them is they didn't stop working on a lot of these players. So let's dive into some of these wins that Colorado got this past weekend that could do a really big number for them going into next season, especially going into the Big 12. But before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. Y'all know what it is. We talk a lot of OU football and Colorado football here on the channel and college football in general. We have a blast doing it. So we're going to dive in today on what Coach Prime and this staff has done this past weekend, which is pretty darn big. And they've kind of proved a lot of the haters wrong, right? Coming into the month of December, Colorado wasn't doing very good on the recruiting trail. And you noticed it because that was the one thing a lot of people pointed out. As things went on, wasn't seeing much success. We noticed that the offensive line struggled majority of this season as Deion Sanders was one of the most sacked players in college football. The team ranked 132 out of 133 teams, giving up 56 sacks this season. And so the question is, how do you improve that? Deion Sanders put up numbers, but man, they were giving up a lot of sacks. Well, offensive coordinator Sean Lewis decided to leave, and with him, he took offensive line coach Bill O'Boyle. They went ahead and went over to San Diego State to do their thing. So Coach Prime and staff decided to go ahead and retool things. And man, did they retool things big. First, they went and picked up former Sooner, NFL All-Pro, and Oklahoma analyst Phil Loadholt to run that offensive line. Now, Big Phil at 6'8", ginormous human being. And we talked about him in another video and going over there because it was huge. Because right after he accepted that job to go there, they landed 5-star Jordan Seaton on the recruiting trail. That was huge. So that told us they're going to retool fully on this offensive line. So now they got their anchor in this 5-star freshman. Now you got to ask yourself, okay, Jay, one player, what's he going to do, right? Well, this past weekend, this is what Colorado did. They gave you 5 more guys to come out of the portal on the offensive line, and that's just to start. Because rumor has it, they've got a list of a few more dudes looking to come to Colorado and join this team. So when you look at the offensive line, this is who they brought in. From Jackson State, Amari Ward. They got in Khalil Benson from Iowa. You got Justin Mayers from UTEP. Tyler Johnson from Houston. And Yakiri Walker from UConn. Now, those names may not be big deals to you, but what that does is it gives Phil Loadholt something to work with, a canvas, players that he can teach and grow and build an offensive line for the Buffs. That's a huge win for them. That's a huge early Christmas gift because the one thing we knew they needed to do was completely flip that offensive line. But then on top of that, over the last couple of days with that, you've seen them add wide receiver talent. You've seen them bring in a tight end. Colorado's back to retooling, and after adding Jordan Seaton, Colorado jumped up in the Big 12 as the number 2 team in recruiting right now. That's pretty darn huge for a team that was in the 60s before December hit. So as you see Colorado and they're seeing the shifting of players, they've got some decommitments, they've got some recommitments. Coach Prime and them are doing everything they can to prove the haters wrong. They're wanting to prove everybody wrong, and I think they can get there. Phil Loadholt was a huge hire, and you're going to see me cover him a lot because as a former Sooner and a Sooner fan, he's one of those coaches that the anticipation is once he gets the experience needed to be an offensive line coach, Oklahoma's going to try to get his hands on him. They're going to try to get their hands back on him. Right now, he needs that opportunity to start somewhere, be a coach that focuses on the offensive line. We still got a veteran here. Phil Loadholt's doing some things. He may move around. I mean, you got another offensive line coach / offensive coordinator that we've seen in college football that's doing some big things in Sharon Moore up there in Michigan. I anticipate that Loadholt is going to get a lot of autonomy in running this offensive line at Colorado. He's going to do some special stuff. So I'm going to be rooting for that sooner. When you see all these players that Colorado's brought, hop in the comments so that your boy know. What's your thoughts? How you feeling about the Buffs doing their retooling and trying to bring back that excitement? The economy that this team brought into Boulder is ridiculous, and we'll talk about that in another video. If you made it this far, you like the content, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We'd love for you to join this family of college football fans. We're expanding everything, talking a lot of college football in general, and we, of course, having a blast doing it. So, YouTube says check out one of these videos. I highly recommend it. All about Colorado. And you'll see more content about them coming over the next week. So we'll probably drop something every Tuesday and Thursday just to keep everybody excited. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Peace.